So my name's Christian Shepherd. I am the co-founder of Big Voice Media Group, and we're here at the Australian Swimming Championships on the Gold Coast. So this is our first interaction with Amazon Prime as a production company, so there's quite an expectation of the product that we deliver, the image quality, the graphics, the production level in essence. So to meet that standard, we scaled up quite a bit from our standard swimming setups that we normally do with Swimming Australia. So for this production, total we're running 12 cameras. 6 of those 12 are BirdDog PTZ cameras, 3 P200s and 3 A200s. The A200s were probably the essential part we wanted for this event because it was an outdoor event. When you plan these events out, you have to plan for all weather types, and it's the Gold Coast. We're expecting sunshine, and as per normal, we were delivered 3 straight days of solid rain when we first started the event. So the A200s really earned their spot at the start of the event. Being able to operate as the rain was pouring, because the competition doesn't stop when it's raining. They still swim in the rain, everything still runs, so the cameras still have to run in that whole setup. So having the A200s, being able to clean the lenses mid-show without having to send someone around to go and do that, having anti-fog to be able to stop the lenses from fogging up, and the fact that they're just waterproof is just great. So for this event, we are a 60-40 production of 60% baseband SDI and 40% NDI. The NDI is being converted back to SDI for our switcher end, but the beauty about NDI is once it's in the network, we can route it to as many different destinations as we want. So when we've got TOs that require another feed, or they need help with judicial review or anything, we can route them a feed. Big screen is running off an NDI source that we can route whatever we want to the big screen without having to take up sources off our SDI desk. So the other setup here is we're set up ops on the western grandstand, but because we're facing east, we don't want any of the cameras facing into the sun, so all of our camera setup is actually on the eastern grandstand looking west. Now that threw in a bit of a distance equation with how we had to get all the camera feeds back and actually power everything that's sitting over on the eastern grandstand. So all the PTZs are power over Ethernet on the other side, and we're just bringing the signals back. So the NDI is really helping in actually transmitting that signal back there.
Well, it is that time again, everybody. Hope you are doing well. My name is BirdDogJon, and I am back in action.
In those scenarios, it's good to neuralize the cameras. You guys know that best.
Very straightforward. Plug it in, go to the web UI, link the source, walk away. You know, like super simple. I keep looking over at the chat, and I keep seeing you are full of it. Tasty, spicy meat snacks. Covered in flavor. I mean, you can't go wrong. So what's going on? We've got a handful of folks here in the chat, and I really appreciate that. What's up, mate? Hey, Warren, how are you? Appreciate it. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, man? We were just talking about you. What's going on, Tom? Ahoy. How is it going? What's going on, GoWeb? Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with us again today. Appreciate that. Feel like I'm in this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut this up and put this in the next intro. Yep, what's going on, everybody? I am indeed BirdDogJon, and we are back again for another round. Well, that was kind of a quick ending to that song, huh? I need to work on that fade transition. Evidently, that I need to figure out how in vMix I can do a video transition without killing the audio on the video. And I just realized my Stream Deck is also off. Hey, what's happening, everybody? I am BirdDogJon, and thanks for joining us for another round of BirdDog support. I think that's what we're calling it, right? Yeah, so here we go. We're going to turn on that playlist and get these cameras cycling through. I have turned on... Oh, whoa. I've brought back my P200, which is now up in the roost, and I've been doing some updates on it here this morning, trying to get things kind of functional again. But it looks like now it's only giving me a blank screen, like the actual NDI stream is not going. So it's here in support for a reason. I'll put it that way. And so it may not be at its best. It may be here on purpose, but yeah, we do what we can. So anyways, we'll sort that out during the show. Maybe that'll be something we troubleshoot live if we run dry on content. So what's going on, Angus? Thanks for hanging out with us, fellow Canadian. No one here but us chickens. Hey, speaking of chicken, I have a chicken-flavored ramen dish today we're going to be trying. Pretty excited about this. It is a spicy chicken-flavored dry black noodles, flaming spicy madness ghost pepper concoction. So, hey, that's underway, and that should be fun. So we'll give it a here. I'll set a 3-minute timer. We'll set a little timer on my watch, and then it comes with like its own hot sauce packet. This looks like it might hurt me, and it also came with this like fork that I guess you snap this thing and open it up. So there you go. That's pretty cool. How neat is that? That's how neat is that? Included in every package. So I was going to use this fork, but why not go for the entire experience and give that a go? So we'll see how that goes. What's going on, Philip? Welcome. Ian, how are you? Thanks for stopping in from across the pond, right? As I recall. The easiest way I've come up with it is to use triggers. I turn off the play pause and restart the transition options, adding a trigger on the restart and begin playback on transition in and then continued. I need to figure that out. On transition out, set volume fader of your video output with a value of 0, 1000 to fade it to 0 over 1000 milliseconds. Okay. Yes, that all sounds like stuff that because I have like a music fade, for example, for the end and the start and end screens, so I can kill the music on those screens, or I can fade it up, fade it down, however we want to do it, and it fades up to a level and then obviously fades off, fades out. vMix triggers are brilliant. What's going on, Marcus? Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome. Hey, Philip. Any news on 4K hardware firmware updates? So 4K hardware is slated for an update next. That is the current next build, firmware build is supposed to be coming soon. So that is what they are working on to get everything up to NDI 5. And there are lots of pieces that have to fall into place to make this happen because of some more big things that are happening in the future, which I'm not going to necessarily talk about right now. But they're coordinating all of that together. So that's kind of part of the delay. But they are working on the NDI 5 update for converters, I have been told, and so I can trust that report. So as far as I understand, it's supposed to be very soon. And I don't normally say that unless I'm pretty confident, because you hate to promise something and then not be delivered for 8 months. And so I don't normally say it's pretty soon unless I'm pretty confident it's going to be pretty soon. So you should hear more about that soon. I'm pretty sure about that. I prefer all my food to be named concoctions. Yeah, it's something, that's for sure. Still got 7 seconds. So yeah, we shall see. I have a show file open on the side here, and I'm reading it directly from it. Makes it so much more smooth. I do need to figure out, because the fade, my fade transition, this one, just fades the video and then kills the audio, right? And so I do want to figure out how to fade out the music, especially on that intro video and any other videos that I'm running during the show. So, did they ever figure out the issue where the quad was only using one CPU core? I don't know. I have no idea what the update is on that. I could certainly ask. I would say I'd ask tonight at the engineering meeting, but tomorrow they would be attending the meeting in the future because Australia is ahead of us. So they would be attending on Friday, and it's Good Friday over there. So the office is actually closed. And just a little pro tip, we are also closed on Friday tomorrow here at the support office. So do not expect a response tomorrow from my team, as we will be spending the day with our families. We do honor those national holidays, and but we'll get back to it on Monday. We are not closed on Monday. However, Australia is, because in the Commonwealth countries, they observe Easter on Monday, and in the States, and mostly just in the States, I think, they only observe Easter on Sunday. So there you go. There you go. Not blank food product. I'm happy to talk you through this step by step if you want to do this on the stream. Well, do we want to do this on the stream? Okay. Let's go for 10 minutes and do this transition on the stream, see if we can sort this out. So what we're trying to do here, folks, for those of you who are playing along, is I want my the song that plays on the bumper video, right, that we run. So you know my bumper video. It looks like this. Okay, that video is basically the show opener, and I want to be able, at the end of that, there is I don't know, maybe 7 seconds of music where it kind of fades out and I turn on my microphone and I chat. Well, my camera doesn't turn on until that 7 seconds is done. What I really want to do is have that music fade out and finish while I'm on camera. And it just needs to be a longer fade out, I think, or maybe just a specific, the video file needs the audio portion to fade out. So I'm going to see if this is even possible. Angus says that he has a potential fix for this, and so let's check it out. Also, you may have noticed that there were a couple of glitches on LinkedIn and Facebook this morning where the show had to be restarted. And so thank you if you're following us over there. I had to basically remove those shows and then restart them up there. For some reason, the connection with those platforms was not working. And so it is what it is, but we'll soldier on. So I don't know even how many people are over on those platforms right now, but yeah, we'll pay attention. Okay, so I will. Let's get to Angus here, and we'll see if we can sort this out in the next few minutes. Okay, so big question on this: what triggers the transitions for your live video? Is it the end of the playback file? Yes. So at the end of the playback file, the video then transitions to preview. Okay, so I can't even read that out to you and tell you what that looks like. But at the in particular, actually, all my videos are set that way. All my bumper videos, but this bumper video, if we open up the settings on this, I can actually put this on this. Oh, this would be smart. Hey, here's an idea. Let's see. Where's my desktop? Cameras. Desktop. Here we go. Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. So this is that intro video, those intro video settings, and under triggers, we have, we turn on transition into this video. It mutes this microphone, okay, just to make sure that I'm not talking to my guys while the video's playing. And then on transition, I don't know what this sound effect is. Audio on, sound. Oh, it double checks to make sure that the sound effects channel.
That's pretty neat.
Is on, because sometimes I play sound effects during these videos. And then on completion, we fade out to preview, which I load my number one camera, which is this one. I load this camera into preview, and so at the end of the video, it transitions then over to me. So, this becomes a problem then, says Angus. Well, that's not what I want to hear. I want this to be simple. Hello from Winnipeg. What's going on, Randy? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for checking in with us. vMix hasn't got any function to trigger something before the end of a file. You need a file playing in parallel that's a second shorter than your intro video. If I were to play the audio for this video on a different mix, would that do it? So if I was running this on a second mix, then this video file could output on a separate channel and continue to play while because the video would stop, right? Shoot, nope. It's almost like it needs to be playing on a separate Interesting. Actually, yeah. So maybe the idea is I don't want to play this as an input. I don't want to play this as because the video fades the audio already, like on the video. The issue is that I want to like overlay. Oh, there's an idea. What if I had a trigger to overlay this camera on top of that video, and at the end of it, I fade my video on top of it and load this camera into preview. So then I have the option then, so when I'm running the video, I could also show this camera. And I could fade that on, but that would still, yeah. So, okay. So here's what I'm talking about. So if I could have a second layer, basically, and I probably need to create one, right? But if I could have a second layer that could be faded in and out, oh, there's an interesting idea. Then I could turn my microphone on, fade my video on while the video's still playing in the background, and then at the end of that video, it would just switch to input 1, which is this main camera, and it would go on. It would transition along as if nothing. You would be none the wiser. Interesting. vMix doesn't fire the trigger until the file ends. Okay, cool. If you just create a WAV file of silence that you can put in the overlay channel to start when the video plays, that can be the file that does your trigger. Basically, you want your transition the camera while the video, or really just the audio, keeps playing in the background and not stop it. Correct, NetHab. It just has to be 1 or 2 seconds shorter than the real video. Interesting idea. I'm also tempted to move. See, so when I show these comments, it covers up my face. So I'm tempted to move my position of this camera, for example, which I might do. So let me first of all, let me do that, because for the sake of this show, like this, we say position. This is input 2, and then we would want to pan this up, right? So, up. Back just a little bit. Boom. And done. Okay, cool. I'm gonna move me up here for now. All right, so let me see now what. Hopefully your words won't cover up my face. In Central, Joe has kindly given us a trigger that can fire 1 second before the end of a video. It makes things so much easier. You lose that abrupt ending. Yeah, and that's really like what I'm after, is just how do I lose that abrupt ending to the to that video, because I hate that. I'm such a stickler for that sort of stuff. I'm curious though. I wonder if I'm overcomplicating this, and I could just create an overlay on top of that video that could fade in and out. So this is that video that could just fade in and out. A secondary layer, layer 2, it's the main camera, right? And then triggers, and I could create a trigger. What could I use here? Could use that button, I guess. So add, not a fade. That was dumb. Delete this. Sorry, everybody. Transition out, overlay in. Is there like a toggle option here? It's kind of hard to read these words up there on this tiny screen. Not transition. I want to toggle. Hey, oh. So just the replay toggle. I'll put this down here for a second. Fade. Fade. I guess fade is overlay in. Fade in main. No, fade in. I don't want to fade in the actual input. I just want to fade in the layer. Let me think about this. There's got to be a way here. Because literally, I just want this camera to appear over the video, but let the video finish. And then when it finishes, the trigger then would just transition me to number one. I think it's totally doable. Logically, it makes sense in my head. Sadly, the vMix guys haven't put anything like that directly in the software yet. I don't think layers can be faded, only the four overlay channels. Since vMix can't trigger X seconds before the end of the video, you're stuck with just timing the transition number of seconds after the short of the video. And since you know how long the video is, I do think having a 1 second shorter file to play in parallel will be the easiest way. All right, map this out for me because I... Okay, so that was the actual video and not see now that's the nervousness that I would be nervous about it just because I would have that error. But anyways, that was like, as long as I don't trigger the video with my face on top of it. Okay, so that's interesting. You can't set a overlay. Yes, you can. Overlay input 2. Overlay input to in. Oh, intro 2. And then on completion, no, I want this to be. Oh, I see. Because the trigger, you can't assign. Oh, but you know what? You could do a shortcut. So let's try this. Let's go to. Sorry, I'm like mapping it out of my brain. It's going to take a minute. This is the. Oh, and my spicy noodles are finished here. So I was waiting for the water to evaporate. These are black noodles that smell like McDonald's French fries actually. But anyways, they're black noodles. And this is apparently some sort of ghost pepper seasoning. So I am voluntarily going to kill myself here this morning. May not be. Oh, there it is. May not be a great idea. And I might regret this for the rest of the weekend. But here we go. Decisions have been made. And of course, I can't back out now. Now, do I even have like tissues and stuff? Uh-oh, I may not even have the ability to help myself. If things go wrong, I only have water, which we all know does nothing. Water is just as bad as coffee when handling hot and spicy food. So here we go. I don't know where these things came from. Somebody must have donated them or brought them in. Let's roll this sauce down. I guess I'm just going to go all sauce as it was intended to be eaten. This is like thick. Something's wrong here. This is like a really, it's not a runny sauce at all. It's very, very thick. So, whew. Okay. All right, we're going to mix this up. And there is a fair bit of water in there. You can't really see it on camera. There's a fair bit of water. So I'm going to let this kind of mix and still set up. And we will use this tiny fork just to have a go with it. But anyways. So for example, your intro video is 4 minutes, 13 seconds long. Random selected. Create a wave file that is 4 minutes and 11 seconds long. Add a trigger to the video to play that wave when it begins. Add a trigger to the wave to set volume fade to the video to 0 over 1 to 2 seconds on completion. Add a similar trigger delay to the wave to fade to your camera. You can even add a trigger to start the playlist. I don't like starting the playlist. I want to intentionally start it because it depends on what I'm doing, but no, I appreciate that. So, but the issue though is that the audio. I want to. it's not a 1 or 0. It's not a 1 second transition that I need, because the I start talking about 4 or 5 seconds before that video is done. And so that is normally the issue, is that I need to appear for about 4 seconds while that audio finishes up from that file. So, but can I just think that's easy enough? So again, that's why it's like, if I could just fade my video in while that video is playing on the background layer, and then it just goes to main one, and then on completion, then it would remove that video off of that file and like reset it for the next time. That's, I think, what I'm trying to think about, because I do that already with videos. So when a video plays, it restarts on transition. So I set the video inside the preview, and I hit cut or I hit fade. It starts the video from the beginning and plays all the way to the end. When it gets to the end, it then transitions to whatever is in preview. So that way I just know the next thing that I want to show goes in preview. When the video is done, that will appear. So that is what I'm thinking, is that like, if I could just bring my video up on top of the video as like a top layer, and just let the video finish out, and then it would just transition to, it could just cut then. It could cut over to the video. You wouldn't even notice it happening, as long as the video layer is the same as main one, which in this instance it is. So let me see if there is hey guys, let me see if there is a shortcut that I could add. Function layer on input needs to be 1. Turn on a layer from input at index starting from 1. Turn for input number, title, description, yada, yada, yada. Let's find a key. Oh, shoot. Cancel that. Just for funsies. Find this one. Press the key on your... Oh, crap. Where's my X keys? Here it is. Find this one. Layer. Okay, so I have that. So if I cut to this and I click this. Nope. That's not what I told it to do. That's weird. That's not at all what I told it to. So say okay. Yeah, nope. Nope, that's not what I want you to do. So that's very weird. Edit. Layer on off toggle. Input should be 1. Hit OK. Why is it going to this camera? That doesn't make any sense at all. It fades to that camera for some reason. It's not what I put down at all. Maybe I'm using a button that I shouldn't be using. 120? Nope, it's not registered for anything. So let's edit this one. Mirror. Is it a layer? Am I using the right term there? Let's back out of this. So cameras, settings. Oh, whoops, not that. Well, that's fine. It is known as a layer inside of vMix. So if I say bumpers, settings, this trigger right here, turn this on or off. So weird. Whoops. Huh. Sorry, I'm ignoring you guys over here. Layers can't fade, so you'll need to use one of the 4 main overlay channels to do that. You could also just set your video to not automatically mix audio and not stop when you transition away. That's true. That is true. I could just do that instead. So let's go back to my vMix machine. Let's just say none here for now. Let's not complicate this. Maybe it's just the trigger action. So on transition, hang on. You could also just set your video to not automatically mix audio and not stop when the transition away. Where do I do that? This says, okay, automatically mix audio, pause when after transition. Oh. All right, so let's run the end of this. And let's go here. I'm just going to run the end of this video as a test. And let's see how this goes. So I'll skip ahead because it's going to start at the beginning. And the audio has decided to stop. So give me a hot second here. Oh, because it's not mixing the audio. Burnt. Okay, so then I've got to go to the, where are we here? The intro video. Here it is. BirdDog intro video, input 23. And so I would need to select this before I go and then cut. Yes, that is what needs to happen. Okay, so let's skip ahead.
In this video more than anyone but John. It's true, NetApp. You are, I'm going to cut that.
All right, skipping ahead. Oh, wait, sorry. Skipping back. Okay, so I turn on my microphone, and I would then crossfade into this, and the music finishes playing. Angus gets the gold star. That's what I want every time. And then if I cut over to that again, then it would start over. So the only thing is that it won't fade the music if I start it by accident.
Well,
right?
it is that time.
It is that time again, everybody. All right, so that's just a different way of executing that beginning of the show in my head, but it doesn't really change anything for me, and that's pretty much what I want. I just want that music to end. So just leave the music always on for that input. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll do that. Cool. All right. Well, hey, that only took a half an hour. Hey, let's do something fun here and watch John have problems. And so let's do snacks on stream.
John's just making up stuff to start drama.
Look, I don't know.
Look at him.
Wish me luck, folks. It's my first Vegemite experience.
Final, this is like cheese flavor or something. It doesn't really look too appetizing.
Good golly, this is something else, man.
Here's the thing about Pop Rocks, and I don't know if I'm the only one like this. Pop Rocks have always been a social experience for me.
I did not think that is what you were going to say. That's hilarious.
That is awful. Oh, gosh, that's so bad. Jeez. Holy smokes, man.
All right, here we go. A little snacks on stream. I could also set this up to do the same way that we just set up with the other video, because I'm always talking over the end of it too. So, anyways, today we have ghost pepper spicy chicken flavor, daring, dry black noodles, flaming spicy madness, no artificial color. That's unfortunate because this does not look very appetizing. So they maybe should have considered some artificial coloring because, yikes, it looks like it worked. Yes, it does look like it works, so thank you. That's very helpful. So I'm going to eat this. I don't really have any way of fighting the spice. So I don't know if I'm going to get through all of this today, but I've been putting this off for a long time. I was going to eat this with some BirdDog fellow employee, but nobody really took me up on that offer. So I'm doing this on my own. Got to say that I did it, right? But if it causes me internal combustion problems, well, that's part of the game, I guess, right? So here we go. Let's give it a try. Okay. The burn is there, that's for sure. 340 calories, by the way. Very different, like noodles. It's not like the spicy ramen, not the bulldog, that's for sure. Oh, whoops. Got to be careful about the dangling noodles because if you get those on your lips, man, there's no turning back. There's something missing here. There's definitely something missing. Now I'm gonna try this little tiny fork that they gave me too. See if I feel like this will just slow me down because it's so tiny. But hey, I want to give it a shot. It came with the actual noodles. That fork is crap. No. When in doubt, go with the monster. It hasn't caused an issue yet, but I feel like it's right on the edge of. It's hot. It's not. Well, maybe I shouldn't say anything until I'm done. It's missing something though. There's something missing in that cup of noodles. I did find my tissues. It's not unbearable. It's just something's. It's not as it says ghost pepper on it. I don't know about that, man. The one-time spicy was spicier than this for sure. So I don't think that this is supposed to be like a one-chip challenge type of level. But I'm not. It's hot, but it's not killing me. So I want black bulldog ramen. Me too. I actually looked at it today on Amazon. I was like, I need to get the other flavors we haven't had here and bring this back for a few. So don't count your chickens before they burn. Black noodles make it look Klingon. Ooh, it's true. Definitely looks Klingon. Ahoy! What's going on, Tom? How are things over across the pond? Hopefully well. We're going with the black ramen spicy noodles ghost pepper, apparently. I put the whole package in here, so I'm assuming this is as hot as it's supposed to be. Maybe not. Also, there's a lot of water in the bottom of this, so maybe I was supposed to drain that? I don't know. Yeah, something's missing. It's just like something's not the same with those noodles. It just seems odd. I'll keep eating it. But meh. This wouldn't be a go-to, like, hey, if you really like spicy food, go with this one. This would be you should try it if you like it, but don't buy like a 12-pack. We'll see if it goes down the wrong tube here and hurts me. Okay, so on Tuesday we had talked about video wall, and we had a few questions about that. We launched that last week, a week ago today actually, and just wanted to make sure that that's out in the wild. We are happy to talk about it and cover off whatever it is that you want to, if you have any sort of questions about that. Feel free to throw your suggestions or your NDI questions in the chat, because that's what we're here for. We're here to answer those questions for at least an hour, twice a week, okay? So you get 2 hours of just straight up FaceTime. It's basically like a webinar where you can ask your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. So that is always on the deck for things to do. John always comes through and finishes the snack even when it's not good, aside from the Vegemite. It's true. There was one other that I was like, nah, I'm not going to finish that. I can't remember what it was. But it wasn't that it wasn't. Like the Vegemite, to me, I like couldn't eat that. It tasted like feet. But the there was one other that I was like, I'm not going to finish that. And was it the 2-time spicy? I think it maybe was the 2-time spicy. Maybe I have to redeem myself now that I've done all these and go back to that. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this. It's yeah. I don't know. Now I don't know what I said before, but I wouldn't say that this is like good. This isn't good food. This is just like hot noodles. There's an odd taste to it. Maybe it's like the preservatives they're using. But there's just an odd taste. Something doesn't sit right about this. Maybe it tastes like maybe like a manufactured taste. I'll look at the list of ingredients here in a second. Kind of has like a weird like hairspray taste smell to it. Yeah, I'm not making a great case for you to try this. I know. 2 times spicy BirdDog is intense. It's true. That one I was sweating almost instantly when I started eating that. Did you get the email from NewTek this morning about their announcement next week? Any predictions? I didn't, actually. Let me see if it's in my inbox. NAB show just announced. No, I didn't get any, I didn't get an update. What's the deal with that? Nope. So let's look on their NewTek website. Is it on there? NDI 5.5, powering videographers everywhere. Oh, maybe, did I just get the email? Nope, sure didn't. Connecting at CES. They don't even have it on their website. What's the deal with that? So did NewTek announce it? Is it newtek.com? Yeah. Headed to NAB? Meet with us. Book now. It's not on their website. So what's the announcement, Tom? Why don't you fill me in on what I'm missing? You're braver than me eating that. Oh, and then we have a YouTube link. Let me jump over to Twitch and check that out. Hey, Phil, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today. The future of video is now, April 11th. Future of video. The future of video. There are 43 people waiting. You're just a wee bit early. So that's hilarious. This is what Phil just sent me. Oh, whoops. Can I not? Oh, okay. My favorite part is the comment section on this sort of stuff. Is there an Android app for NDI? At least an NDI camera app? I have an NDI HX camera. That's the only app out there. Interessante. Whatever this is. I had to Google translate this. Translate.google.com. Translate from French to English. Very interesting. We are already waiting. Pretty sure this is 5 days out, right? Pretty sure. Hey, check this out.
Recordings
Stop it.
just got better.
I don't want to watch your advertisement. I already have StreamYard. So, Dan talking with NDI. Let's scrub this video. Let's see what's going on here. Look at this guy. Look at that.
Glad to be here.
He's glad to be here. When did this go down? A month ago. You can tell that I really paid attention because I didn't know that happened. Is that NDI 5.5 banner new? Because that's an ENG camera, not a PTZ in that picture. Really? NewTek. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I don't know much about. I don't follow NewTek and NDI like I should, probably. Full disclosure. I need to probably figure out exactly what it is that I've got going on in the rest of the industry. But there's just so much stuff happening at BirdDog that hard to keep tabs on multiple companies. Okay, so that residual burn is not unbearable. It's hot, but it's not unbearable. It is not one-time spicy hot, that's for sure. Let's this is like dripping with water. I need to figure out a way how to how to condense these noodles so I can eat them without them getting all over my face. Hey, just FYI, if you're just joining us, we are closed tomorrow for Good Friday, as is much of the world. So if you submit a ticket tomorrow, we will be back on Monday. In the U.S., we celebrate Easter on a Sunday, so Monday we are open. So for those of you who celebrate Easter Monday, you lucky ducks. My previous country that I am still a citizen of, Canada, they celebrate on Monday too. So it's a Monday, it's a Friday, it's an extra long weekend. It's a 4-day weekend. But here it's just 3 because we are no longer a part of the Commonwealth, and the United States is no longer a part of the Commonwealth. I'm Canadian. And but anyways, they are not, and so they get Independence Day instead, which is, there's Canada Day. But anyways, Independence Day is on the books, and we take that day off, and depending on when it falls in the week, sometimes that makes it for an extra long weekend too. So anyway. Yeah. This goes under the category of probably won't eat this again. It's genuinely not bad. It's just not good. I don't know if that... All right, I think that I'm going to call that pretty much done. Oh, we got another. Yeah, that's empty. Yeah. I've had better. That's for sure. I've had better. And I don't know about that one. So, mixed reviews. I'm going to say no. If you're in the market for... Are my lips like orange? Is that... I think they are. Meh. I've had better. So, let's try some water and see how that makes it worse. See, that's how you know it's not real, because water doesn't make it worse. If you have real spicy food and you drink water, it just spreads the fire throughout your mouth. That actually helped. It like diluted everything. So it's not an oil-based burn, which is what that's how you stick it to the man, is you make an oil-based spice, and then when they drink water, it doesn't work. When they drink milk, it only tunes down the fire, but it doesn't help with the actual oil base. Bread is why they say have a loaf of bread with you and just eat that. It'll absorb the oil and make it better. But yeah, this water actually helps. It makes it better. So it's not an oil-based burn. So meh. Isn't there a quote from Liar Liar where he says, "I've had better"? I'm gonna find that because I feel like that's applicable here, and we should totally have that as a soundbite. So I'll look that up while we continue to answer NDI questions. But meh to that, and there you go. That's my synopsis of that spicy snack. YouTube says, join us as we present a new business vision, brand and community initiatives, consolidating the growth from protocol to a fully independent technology company. Oh. Are they splitting from VizRT? Newtek is it Newtek or is it VizRT? Is it Newtek or NDI that made the announcement? So I guess they're just splitting NDI out into its own company from Newtek. They already did that. They did that 2 years ago. NDI.TV is its own entity under the VizRT umbrella, and then Newtek is its own entity under the VizRT umbrella. Newtek uses NDI to create TriCaster cameras, all that stuff, but NDI.TV is its own thing. It's like a whole licensing division of the company. So they already did that part. This goes under the category of probably won't eat this again, then proceeds to eat 3 more bites. Got me. That's true. Will activated charcoal absorb the oil? I have no idea. Wait a minute. Maybe look that up offline. Oh, yeah. I've had better. Maybe look that up offline first. Yes, I will. Don't worry. I know what the reference is from. I really just need Jim Carrey saying, "I've had better," as he's looking in the mirror, laughing at himself. But yes, I won't Google the words "I've had better." We can say "liar, liar." There, yes, there. Okay, this is safer to look up. And then the one where he's talking in the mirror is the one that I want. Wait a minute. Maybe look that up offline. Yes. I will. I'll arrange that next time. I'll make sure that it's PG, because that's what we're doing here, folks. We're running a PG show. Nothing vile. Okay, we are 10 minutes to the hour, and I did start on time. I was tempted to start 5 minutes later today because I was making the soup, or this, whatever this is, and I was getting water and talking to my team and taking my time, but I still started on time. So I want to give you full value here today. Be sure that you feel like you're not shortchanged. And so we are going to go at least for another 9 minutes, but potentially longer as well. Richard. Okay, so I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to figure that out in a minute. Anyway, so yeah, let me know what is going on, and we will sort out any sort of NDI questions that you have. And if you don't have any, happy to talk about anything else that you got going on. I gave a webinar yesterday to one of our distributors who are selling our products. They want to become more familiar with the BirdDog line and what offerings we have. And so that was really great. And they sent me the recording of it too, so I can kind of refine my presentation. I did feel like I spent an hour and a half just talking like crazy, just like going through as much of the stuff that I possibly could. And at the end of it, I was exhausted. And there wasn't a whole lot of feedback in terms of stuff that I didn't cover that they wanted to know. So I had to ask one of the sales guys was that what they wanted? Was that what you wanted? I didn't get any real feedback as to how that went. And he was like, yeah, it was odd that nobody said anything, but I guess we covered enough to keep them busy for a while. So we offered to do another one. Just, hey, think about it. If you have any questions that come up, we can cover those in the next one. I don't know when that is, but it was a great little webinar, and I feel like we covered some serious ground because it gave them a full insight as to how NDI was designed, and over the past several years, how it's kind of evolved, and then where we currently are today. So it was good. And I think we need to do more of those. I think we need to do more webinars in general as to let's talk about NDI and just tell people how it is in terms of start answering questions, start pulling the curtain back a little bit as to here's how we really would prefer for you to use this device. But it's not a hard and fast rule, but it would be great if you did. And just helping people out, getting off on the right foot. I actually don't think that people one of the pushbacks on some of that, talking about network stuff, is that, oh, well, you're going to scare customers off. Actually, if you tell people how to do it correctly, then I think they appreciate that more, because they also want to do it correctly because they want the benefits of NDI. But if you don't tell them how to do it correctly, then it leaves it open for people being frustrated down the road and owning a bunch of equipment that they don't really prefer to use. So it's kind of in our interest to do the actual, training up front, or provide it on a regular basis. Let's talk about networking. Let's talk about NDI. Let's talk about BirdDog, and actually go through that stuff. And so if you're interested in that sort of thing, if you're interested in the market, in the manufacturers, in even just BirdDog on its own, producing and making those sessions available online in real time, like what I'm doing here, make that known on social media channels. Tell people, don't just tell me, but tell people that that's kind of a desired thing, because we need to be pushing that as this is what the market wants, so that they can use the protocol more efficiently and effectively. And so features are great, but we'd really like to know, how how to do it. And if you advocate for that, the more people that advocate for that in public spaces, the more likely that will become available. And my danger is the people that come to those sort of integration webinars are not the people who are salesy. It doesn't need to be a sales pitch. It actually needs to be technical, which is what I'm doing here. I mean, we talk about vMix, or we talk about networks, or we talk about video wall, or we talk about certain things, and we get into the weeds about it. I'm not selling you on this. Personally, I don't care if you buy it or not, but I want you to learn about it, because if you learn about it, you might realize, oh, this could really fit in what it is that I'm doing. And so if you can integrate it into your own production methodology, then that really works out better in your favor, because it makes your productions better. They posted a video for NAB, I think it was on Instagram or something like that. They posted a video, and it just said, every year we come to NAB to learn how to do our processes better. People are thinking 5 to 10 years down the road, and they want to figure out, how can I do this better? And so when you first start out, you stumble through it, right? And you've watched the evolution of this show, for example, where I was running out of OBS, and I was running I was running out of Streamlabs OBS way back in the day, out of my home office, single camera shot. It was a P200? Forget what it was. Anyways, single camera, really bad quality stuff, guys. And I brought OBS here. I ran that for another, I don't know what, year? And then Dan showed up and did a show with me, and it was apparent to me that OBS was not going to cut it. And in front of the owner of the company, I was tolerating things that were just stupid. So we had a trial license with Wirecast, and I contacted them to see if I could use that as my platform for the show. And they said, by all means, go ahead, get comfortable with it. Let us know if you have any questions. And I used Wirecast for 3 or 4 months, and that was really good. And then the fateful conversation with Tom Sinclair, and I stated my gripes, and he said, look, I think you really need to give vMix another shot. And I think all the things that you want to do are easily done inside vMix, and we can talk about how to do that. And so, reluctantly, with my tail between my legs, I downloaded vMix and got a license, and here I am. I'm full on in, man, and it runs my show. But that has happened over the course of 4 years. That whole evolution of the show, the lighting, the color, there's always little things that are changing. The microphone, the sound quality, whether I'm doing wireless stuff with my little LV2 and my Rode Wireless Go system, or I've got my X keys, which was sitting in a box for 2 years, by the way, or 3 years. Sitting in a box. It is now my primary switching device when I'm using these cameras. I have it all set up in here as MIDI cues, and you just punch it and it goes to that camera. It really has changed the way that I operate, and the system has evolved over time, and I add the pieces that work for me. It doesn't mean that all of the things that I'm using. So, for example, I brought in my own personal Stream Deck. We had bought one. It was just the 6-button one. We had bought one for the studio, but I really needed more buttons than that. Quite frankly, I need more buttons than this one has, which might be, a future purchase I make. It might be, I might make that purchase. Anyways, we'll see. But anyways, I have 3 or 4 pages here of just sound effects and video cues. I can punch up, I can start the playlist on here and punch up Snacks on Stream, do the transition all from Stream Deck. I can do that all inside vMix as well. I can play all these sound effects that I have, and it's quick and easy, and it's set up to work really well. It doesn't really work great with Companion as well. You have to pick Stream Deck or Companion, but I have added pieces to the puzzle to make my production work. I'm a single operator. I do the whole thing myself. I don't make any of my guys sit in here and run the show with me. It doesn't get complicated in that regard, and I've got it sorted out to where if I have another person sitting in this room with me, I can set it up where I can do auto switching based on audio levels between 2 cameras. So there's a few little things that I want to get going with that. Like I want a secondary confidence monitor for the guests to see the multi-viewer so they can see what's being shown. Or maybe I want to show them this screen, with the questions and whatever. But there's several things that are kind of in the works. So you just need a real PC, John. It's true. The computer does need to be upgraded. That is for sure. But that is, again, for what I'm doing. So currently I'm running 5 NDI sources into this computer. A couple of them are running on, I think, low bandwidth. I can verify that here in just a second. But let me go over to cameras. So that one's not. This one is not. The overhead camera is running low bandwidth. Everything else is running full value, with the exception of the P200 we need to troubleshoot here today. So right click on this. Let's take me to configure source. I'm going to throw this up on the second monitor just so that we're all ready to go with that and I don't forget to do it. But vMix is running multiple NDI sources into it. I have 2 gigs going into this computer. The CPU is not maxing out right now. Matter of fact, CPU is averaging at about 55%, which is impressive because that's not normally the case. It's normally overloaded. But after an hour, and the show has been live for an hour and 3 minutes, after an hour and 3 minutes, the CPU seems to settle down. And I'm running Chrome, and I'm running VLC, and I'm running vMix, and I'm running Zen NDI no audio indicator. I'm running SNAS, which is the time clock, and I've got a couple of folders open. So, there's it's not just nothing. That's for sure. My show has evolved over time, and the whole point of this spiel is you decide for yourself what your tolerance level is, and sometimes people see productions and they think it doesn't look like he's doing too much over there. Matter of fact, I've put in multiple hours just getting the studio the way that I want it. Right. Recent change you may have noticed is that my microphone now goes that way and not this way. I made that change this week before the webinar yesterday because it was right in the way of the screen that I use to use Teams and for StreamYard. So it was covering up part of that screen, and it was getting really annoying. So now it goes towards the camera, just kind of off to the side. And I'm living with that decision. I don't hate it. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. And it seems to work okay. It's still in the picture, but it's still okay. And it still gives me the audio from the RE20 at a very close proximity that ends up being nice and clean. So that is a recent change. But as time goes along, you figure it out for yourself as to like what works and what doesn't, and what lighting works and what doesn't. And I bought these 3 soft boxes. They were okay, but now they're starting to go, and I would really prefer like a Falcon Eyes, or really prefer an LCD panel behind me or something like that, right? You figure it out. You don't, you're not locked in. But it also goes into this mentality of when we start streaming, when we fire up, we start working towards having a real production, you have to start somewhere. And you don't start with, somebody told me this in Nashville recently, you don't start with the end result. You start with where you are and you work towards that result. And that result, that target, is going to move into the future as better and better and better and better. It should. If it doesn't, you're in trouble. But it moves into the future as doing things better. And as you pursue that target gets a little wider, gets a little further away, but it also gets more detailed, and it gets a little bit more honed in, and it gets a little bit more sophisticated, and it gets a little better. The end result always becomes better as you're progressing forward. There's 2 dangers here. The first is assuming that you're going to get to that target when you start. Hey, this show has taken 4 years, 3 or 4 years now, to get to this level. And I'm not going to say it's a great level. I'm saying it's a whole lot better than what it was when I started. Okay? You can still go on the knowledge database and find videos of me standing at my standing desk in my office and doing training videos on the knowledge database showing how to do certain things with your products. Okay? They're still out there. I had less gray hair back then, 4 years ago. But it wasn't the quality that is this video and that is this studio. So it evolves over time, and you make adaptations, and you invest a little bit here and a little bit there, and you make it better over time. So the first mistake is assuming that when you start, it's going to be as good as the guy that's been trying for 10 years, okay? You're not going to get to Tom St. Clair's studio production you're running vMix and multiple cameras on the first try. You just aren't. Because if you try and go that route, you're going to be disappointed. The other danger is not recognizing that the target will move and will move away from you. And that if you find the target is not moving away from you and getting more defined, you're actually not working towards a goal. So great example here is houses of worship that put their streams online, right? And it's a camera, it's in the back of the room, and that's it. And it's just they pipe in the audio and they pipe in the camera and they put that up on YouTube. That stream is primarily for members who are not able to attend, but wouldn't attend elsewhere. So they still, maybe they're, homebound, or maybe they're in the hospital, or maybe they're in hospice care or something like that. They still want to be a part of their church congregation community. So they poured in and they watch through a window what is happening inside the auditorium. That's what that is. The next actual level of streaming, though, is engaging the audience, recognizing that the audience is participating with this community through the live stream. And bridging that is a very difficult thing to do because that's not organic for houses of worship. It's actually not organic for very many, unless you're talking directly to the customers or to your congregation and you're answering their questions in a live format. It's really hard to bridge that and make people on the outside feel like they're on the inside, okay? But how do you do that? Well, first things first is you got to get down out of the rafters and get in front of the presentation that's happening. So if it's singing, if it's music, if it's bands, if it's pastors, if it's ministers, if it's preachers, if it's elders or deacons or whoever, you got to get in front of those people and you got to make it almost eye level to what it is that you're experiencing. I'll caution you here. Mounting a camera in the back of the congregation is level one of a several level option. Mounting a camera on the back wall in an auditorium is only level one. That's base level. That's only slightly better than putting it in the rafters, okay? Putting it on the back wall and zooming all the way in with your P200s 30 times optical, it's not a great, it still gives a distanced effect. It doesn't bring the viewer in close to feel like they're a part of the engaging content that's happening. So it happens in multiple levels. Live streaming stuff happens in multiple levels where you, sorry, I just had to fix something. So it happens at multiple levels where you have to think through the process, but then decide how are we engaging with those for the purpose of the stream. I work with a congregation down in Tennessee that has a lot of their primary purpose is to get content onto the web. And they recently changed from having a camera mounted just above a doorway, having a camera on a tripod with a really great lens on it that has the ability, that has a really great f-stop. And so they can mount this thing. They put this still at the back of the room, but the f-stop works in such a way that it does blur the background a bit from the speaker naturally. It's not one of those zoom effects like blur effects, right? So instead it blurs the back a bit and it provides some focus on screen. When they had those, they had just some generic PTZs before. They still have them, but they had them. The f-stop, the lens on the thing could not do the blurred background thing because they were just mounted too far away. They may do it if you mount them closer, but they were mounted above a door frame and shooting directly at the stage. Whereas this new one was on the ground on a tripod at eye level, basically, and then framed correctly so that when the lens sees the person, it auto adjusts and, the person is in a nice frame, but also the distraction of what's happening, all the detail that's happening in the background of the shot is kind of blurred out of focus. And so that that's not where your eye is drawn in the frame. So that's like step 2. They're on the ground. They're still in the back. I'd like to bring that camera a little bit closer. I'd like to bring other cameras closer. Their audience is actually fairly small, and their intention is not really to bring a lot of people into the actual recording space. And so the recording space needs to be thought of as not as a auditorium, but as a studio. And that conversation we're currently having about, we really need to talk about, though, this is not a auditorium. It's a studio. And everybody that walks in here, we need to welcome them to the studio, not welcome them to the church, because people get in their brains that I'm walking into an auditorium that's going to have seating and, I don't know, pews and hymns and hymnals and, somebody's going to pass the plates and what. That's not what this is. This is a recording studio, and that's the primary function of it. So working along and that's what their focus is. That's their target. That's what I mean by the target gets more and more defined as you start defining exactly what it is that you're doing. But you don't get to the end result first. You get there later. And people need to be okay with this is not an instant turnaround. People say like, well, I've had these BirdDog cameras, but why doesn't my stream look very good? It's like, there's so much to that sentence to unpack because it, what do you mean by good? What do you mean by that? So for my spiel today, that's kind of where I would leave it is be sure that you're defining the vision. Don't give up on that. Don't say, all right, it is what it is. I know so many churches that are just like, all right, that's what it is. That's as good as I think it needs to be. That is a death sentence. Take the cameras down, shut the computers off, stop doing that. That's a waste of everyone's time and resources. Don't do that. Don't stream. I know churches that have stopped streaming after COVID because they said most of the time it's just giving people an excuse not to come. Well, what's the point of the stream? What was the purpose of the stream? To be available during COVID or to have a separate specific offering in your community? So, what does that mean? What does it mean? Be sure that you define it. Be sure that you're continually asking that question so that it keeps getting better. When you stop asking, it stops getting better. Time to shut it down. Rant over. You must be close to saturating that poor gigabit link. It's a dual gigabit link, by the way. So I got 2 gigs. I got 3 Stream Deck XLs, an APC Mini, and a Contour Design Shuttle Pro version 2 to control a 4 to 8 camera with instant replay shot streaming setup. All sources are NDI. Boom! That sounds awesome. My first virtual and hybrid events were so much harder than they are now. Rooms are full of gear, dedicated VidCon suites, all to bring in one guest. We've come a long way in a decade or so. So you are not kidding, Angus. And to think how fast all of this has progressed over the 5 generations of NDI. Like if NewTek has an announcement, who knows, right? Who knows what that could be? vMix and BirdDog are a great combo. I would agree. I have actually had great success with BirdDog integrating with TriCaster, vMix, Wirecast, and OBS. OBS just could not keep up. That was really the issue. I bought an amazing hammer. Why does my house still look like a shack? Well, creating something that people actually want to watch, and here I say this with only a handful of people actually watching, creating something somebody wants to actually watch is not just as easy as turning on a great camera and porting it out to Facebook. Like content, audio, video, lighting, all that stuff. That's the bare minimums. And then if you're doing presentations, if you're doing ProPresenter, if you're doing, oh, heaven forbid, you're doing PowerPoint or you're doing something else, like there's lots of things to consider. And yeah, it's, what do you want to achieve? What sort of look do you want? You would have no idea how many blank stares I get from people in leadership positions when I say, what do you want your stream to look like? What are we shooting for? I get so many people in leadership positions that are like, but they're the ones that are saying, we got to stream. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, how do you stream? Like, so a great little catch-all for this is when somebody in a leadership position comes to you and says, I really need my thing to stream. I really need to be online. I think we need to be online. It's like, great. Tell me how it is you think streaming works. Because designing the frame, right? Like the difference between these 2 shots, designing the frame. Tell me about what it is that you think goes into designing the frame. Because the result you get from people who have been given the mission, we need to stream, is that you get camera shots where it's like this and it goes like way up. I could alter this camera. I don't want to though. I like this frame. You get this shot where it's like just their neck and then a whole bunch of like dead space above their heads. Or you get these like odd wonky shots that are like too close or too far. Or you can see like all the pores in their skin, and you can like people just don't even understand basic framing, and yet they insist that, oh, we should be streaming. And then the next thing out of their mouth is, all right, we're streaming, but why does it look so bad? You know, we bought these $3,000 cameras. Why does it look so bad? It's like, you're missing the fundamentals. You know, you're missing the creativity side of what it takes to generate that and what look you want. There are multiple ways to set up a P4K, for example, to give you dozens of different types of looks. You want it to be oversaturated. You want the blacks to be crushed. You want you want detail. You want it to be soft. You want it to, like, what? What do you want? But tell me what you want it to look like. You want to look like a news broadcast? You want to look like a Joe Rogan podcast? You want it to look like a CNN interview, or I don't know. I shouldn't say mainstream media because I might lose viewers. You want it to look like an interview from a major TV, your choice of major TV broadcaster. By the way, I don't watch mainstream media. So what do you want it to look like? Give me an example of what you think a good stream looks like. And then I'll tell you what it takes to do that. Because what they'll do is they'll turn around and they'll send you a Hillsong, music video. They'll say, well, look at this live stream. It's like, first of all, that's not even live recording. That's B-roll mostly and an audio track overlaid. Anyways, you have to design it. Now, here's the cool thing about all this, by the way. There are so few people in the world that know how to do that you can offer that as a service. I've done it before. It's an interesting road. It can be frustrating because they're going to have their eyes opened as to like what it really takes. But you can say, look, here's some of the productions I've done. And here's what I know it takes to do those things. And here's how much it would cost, and here's how much time, and here's how many people it takes to pull that off every time. You know, you can offer that as a service to, like, I can help you get there. And people might pay you to do that. So, there you go. Every single time I do a show, I try to do it as a little better than the last time. And that's true. That's what we're up to, right? Like, we're refining things. Today, we're working through vMix, working through my intro stuff, trying to figure out, how do I get this music to continue to fade out while and we did it. We have a method. So, boom. Storytelling is, or otherwise, why would my clients hire me? Why even show up? Storytelling is the key. What is the story that you want to tell? And that is sometimes the danger, even with this show, right? If I show up and I really don't have anything to talk about, and I leave it up to you guys, well, you guys might not have anything to talk about. So, yes, storytelling is key, and actually a gripping story people will listen to even if it's not applicable to them. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird that, like, if you're good at telling stories, or you're good at explaining why, for example, why would you choose a P240 over P200? And you can show use cases, and you can show a scenario, and you can talk about the features, and you can talk about the integration, talk about how low level it needs to really understand how it works, and you can give a story as to how that works. People get invited into that, and for some reason our brains are wired in the narrative realm. And so people get sucked into that sort of stuff, and they listen, even if it doesn't make much, if it's not going to mean anything to them after they're done listening, which is why podcasters, for example, especially video podcasters, have huge followings, and they watch over and over and over podcast after podcast when it doesn't apply to them at all. It may not make any sense, but this person's a really good storyteller, or he's a really good, he asks great questions, or he listens really well and then follows up with, interesting, let's dig a little bit deeper on that, and let's, a good interviewer. People will tune into that even if the content is not really applicable to them. It's crazy. What is the story that you want to tell? It's a great question. I was delighted recently when a client actually opened up with a discussion about how they wanted things to look. They asked for examples of what I've done, and they were very happy with what I offered. Boom. There you go, Angus. Yeah. People, when people ask me about who are you? It's like, well, twice a week for over an hour, I run a show talking about content that really isn't for everybody. And my job is to grow that channel and to get people interested in it and answer their questions that they have. And I do that with consistency. Here's what it looks like. Here's a link to the channel. Here's a link to the most recent show. And I do that on various types of cameras. Here's a show that I did this on a $3,000 camera. Here's a show that I did on an $8,000 camera. Here's a show that I did on a equipment totaling over $15,000. As we go around PF120, PF120, P4K, P200, vMix, computer, on and on. So there you go. I don't think that this is the issue. The fundamentals of we need to stream is what we are trying to do. How will it benefit your objectives? Not framing, editorial style, etc. Streams are events. This is the basics of event organizing. What is the audience and objective of that event? Here's the thing, though. My pushback on that is it very much so matters about how it is you plan to present. And if you're going to have an event, we need to stream. Okay, well, what are you streaming? You're streaming, this content. Okay, let's just say the content is engaging enough. If it looks like crap, or if it sounds like crap, it doesn't matter how engaging it is. No one's going to watch that. You might watch it because you absolutely need the information. But that's kind of a rare thing. People have so many options nowadays to decide what it is that they're going to watch and how they're going to ingest information. That if I produce a grainy or a video that has terrible audio, or it's not engaging at all, or this content I'm all blown out and it looks terrible, even if my audio is great, it looks terrible, people are going to lose interest. They're not going to take me serious when I talk about how to do NDI properly if everything looks and sounds like crap. And so same thing goes for community groups, or same thing goes for houses of worship or whatever. It's like if you have a great message, but the way that you're portraying it is unengaging, it doesn't really matter how great the message is, to be honest with you, because nobody's going to watch that. They have so many more opportunities, and you get into this gray area where it's like, well, then the content is not for them. Wrong. The content is for them. You're just not delivering it correctly. And this goes into it's on me to fix it, instead of it's on them to be interested and tolerate what it is that I can do. So there's like this balance between, you absolutely need engaging content, or a good story, or something that people genuinely want to tune into. But equally, I think at least 50% equal, if not more, delivering it in a way that shows that you take yourself seriously is absolutely critical to the success of that event. 100%. If it looks like crap, like this is my deal with like framing, right? And I might have to eat my words because we're having to do some collaboration stuff. But there was I have to jump on another webinar, but it's going to be late at night. They said you can just do it from your home. It's a Saturday night. You can just do it from home. And I was like, no, I will drive into the office and do it from the studio, because my home, I have an exercise machine, a rowing machine in the background, and it's my office. It's where my gear is. It's one of our guest bedrooms. And no, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not going to expect people to take me seriously on a live event if I don't come into the studio and run it properly. And that's just a me thing. I expect this of myself, and I can be framed correctly. And I've got multiple cameras, and I've got proper lighting, and I've got a good microphone, and everything here is set up for that function. So I'd rather, if I have a choice, I'm going to come here to do that show. If I did it from home, people might still tune in because the content will be engaging, but my portion of it will not be as good as it could be. And that's the difference between this studio and my home studio. Is I do virtual meetings at home. I meet with the Australians all the time, off hours. Well, I don't know if I even have off hours at this point. I meet with them in the evenings, and that's fine. But when I'm engaging the greater NDI community and the world at large, this is where I want to do that stuff, because it's set up properly, and that's where it is. Sorry, I kind of went off on the side there. If that's what they want, I'm available for hire, but I have to get paid in money. As long as the audio is good, Tom says, this is the way. This is the way. You guys, I love you guys. This is great. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. If you don't know where you're going, good luck picking the road that will take you there. No, I had a yearbook in high school, my 9th grade high school year. The back of my yearbook said, "Don't worry, all roads lead somewhere." To which my dad looked at that and said, don't adapt that philosophy. That's a foolish way of going through life. Roads do lead somewhere, but a lot of them lead to places you don't want to go. And truer words have not been spoken. So, yeah, you need to, if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a target, define the target, and then we can help you find the right road. John, have you ever thought that this show format might benefit from more real-time conversations with you? Like, for example, using the Discord to enable live responses by reducing the latency of RTSP from 30 seconds to 300 milliseconds. Here's a show that I did on a broken P200. My point is that what it looks like is informed by what the purpose of the event is, the audience, the desired outcome. Okay, yes, true. If you don't know where you're going, put a pin in the ground and start walking in that direction. See if it's the right way, in other direction, and otherwise change direction. Yeah, now we're saying the same thing. Now we're saying, what do you want this to be? What's the goal? Define that a bit, and then start working towards that definition. And as you start seeing that target more and more clear, that target will evolve into something greater than what you originally envisioned. And so it will continue to define itself. It might move a little further away, but it will be in greater detail, and you'll be able to actually understand greater what paths need to be taken to achieve that sort of goal. And you'll by far spend your time more wisely if you can define, even if the goal is poorly defined, have a goal. What do you want this to be? If the answer is we just want to put this online. Okay, why? Who's going to do you want this to be broadcast level? Do you want this to be a portal, just to be a fly on the wall? What is the goal? And then the question is, who's going to tune into this? Right? Who's your audience? Just like you're saying. We're saying the same thing. But you're talking at a technical level. I'm saying before you even get technical, you need a purpose to the event. Agreed. Yes. Originally, yes. Into the weeds, when you encounter, my frustration is I talk to tons and tons of organizations that straight up don't know what they're doing, like don't know what they're trying to achieve. They buy 3 cameras and a keyboard, and they put them all on the back wall in 3 different locations on the balcony. Well, what are you doing here? You have 3 angles of the same shot. Like, what good is this? So show me a production where you think, can't wait to produce something like that. That's the goal. Show me that. Then I'll tell you where the cameras go. Then I'll tell you what has to happen. Then I'll tell you what to buy. Then I'll tell you how to organize it and how to set it up. But if you just tell me, hey, I want to stream, what camera should I buy? No, you're asking the wrong questions. I won't say get away, but I'll say you're asking the wrong questions. First question is, show me what sort of production you want to do. And then we'll go from there, right? Sound is more important than looks. Well, that's good, because the subject on this content is just me, and you're stuck with it. Dinner. I'll catch the rest on replay. Take it easy. Thank you for checking in. Always appreciate having you here. You also get the opposite problem where the style that the young whippersnapper wants isn't supported by the content, even if the content is good. Think MTV Guerrilla style. Yeah, if you're a high church, Catholic, high church Catholic community, and you're doing run and gun documentary style coverage of their services, yeah, that won't line up. You also probably won't have much of an audience because it will make them sick to their stomachs. Yes, it's very, very good to consider who your audience is. This is what happens when someone says, you've got to spend $150,000 before the end of the financial year. I wish this rant could be available for download somewhere, but I would not scrape it from YouTube because that breaks TNC. This rant is available on Twitch, also on LinkedIn. What part of the rant do you want? Because I can cut it as a clip. That's for sure. Anyway, it's good stuff. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it. It's always good to be with you, and it is a good break in a busy department. The support department gets a lot of questions and head scratchers and all sorts of things in the world of that's an interesting way to use this product. I'm not too sure why it's exhibiting those problems. We get that all the time, and that's where we live. And sometimes it can be frustrating, and sometimes it can be, challenging. It's rewarding too. But yeah, we really need to get together more often. I like doing it twice a week. And don't forget Tom Sinclair's show at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. He's on Wednesday afternoons. And he is a good guy to know, and is a wealth of knowledge beyond just the BirdDog NDI realm. He's covering things of vMix integration. He loves X keys. He has some deep friends in the market that give him kind of behind the curtain sneak peeks on things, and so he's a great guy to know. So be sure that you jump over and sign up. If you're on YouTube, you can look him up after the show. He's a Streaming Idiots. That's his handle. I didn't call him that. His handle is Streaming Idiots, but you can find him at easternshorebroadcasting.com. And the link to his show will be on that site as well. So be sure you check out Tom, and of course come back here twice a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 to at least 12 o'clock. We're up to 12:30 already, so that's pretty great. And of course, as always, be sure that you check out my support channel at BirdDogJon.tv. Last time I checked, we were over 200. That number kind of goes up and down based on I think people just like to troll me. 203. So up one since yesterday. Anyways, it's not a big deal for anybody but me, but 203 people that are subscribed to my channel. Wow, that makes me feel really good. So thanks, everybody. If you haven't done that, please do so. I would really appreciate it. It just helps me validate with the owners of the company that this is something worth keeping around. People are paying attention, and it's a good place to put this stuff. And it also is a great way that you can subscribe to the channel. You don't have to rely on social media notifications and stuff to find out when I go live. You can just use the bell icon or however it is that you use YouTube to notify you that we're going live. And I say that we do this show and other events, but I actually haven't done another event at a different time on this channel. But that is the point. As we get into the future here and things evolve a little bit, the hope is that we'll be using this channel on Tuesday, Thursdays for sure at the same time slot, but then special events and that sort of thing will also get hosted on here and on the other channels, and you get notified. So BirdDogJon.tv is where that's at. This show is also available on our BirdDog YouTube page, so if you're subscribed over there, that's also a second place where we put marketing materials mostly, but it's a good place to find out about what's going on in the industry. So boom, there you go. I think an X Keys T-Bar is in my future. Yeah, and if you are friends with Tom Sinclair, you can ask him because I think he has one. So that's really kind of a cool thing. If you don't know what we're talking about, this is a company called Pi Engineering, and they are known as the what do they call themselves? They call themselves the No Slogan Company. That's their slogan. Anyways, this is xkeys.com, and you know I can do you one better and just kind of tune you in over here to that X Keys page. Share this page, please. So xkeys.com, and basically they make these little customized, X Keys controller panels, and you can customize them a little bit. They're basically MIDI, MIDI panels. They make them themselves. They do have a pretty wide range of controllers and things that they offer, but they get a little bit crazy with their keyboards and their, controllers. Look how huge some of these are. I only knew about the X80. This is the one that Tom has. This one here, the XK80 USB keyboard. Now they have a 128, which is insane. and or maybe he's got the 80 because their 60 is basically just a pared down 80. But anyways, yeah, or they make these quick little bars that you can buy and mount those. Or this is the one that I have. I have the USB XK24, and it's great. I mean, it'll take command functions just straight up, easy to do. It basically acts as a MIDI keyboard, and inside vMix, what I do is I say, create shortcut, find key. I click the button. It recognizes that key, it logs it, and then I set up the thing that I want that key to do. And then when I click that key, it does the thing I want it to do. So it's really straightforward. You can set them as toggle. I can set them to change like any of my inputs pretty quick, So I can do that pretty straightforward. And yeah, it works really well. It's an easy way to manage vMix. So I like it. There are, of course, a lot of other options here that they have. So they have keyboards, trackballs. If you want to go back to the 1990s, they have trackballs. Adapters and switch interfaces. They have big easy buttons, which are these guys, switches and pedals. So I love this. This big easy button is basically a one function button, I believe, for $40. It's like a big red button. And you can use that as your transition, or you can use that as whatever you need it to be. But it's just a one-button switch that is a USB interface, and pretty cool. It's a great idea. And, yeah, there's a whole bunch of feather touch switch. Oh, that's cool. So that's just a small button, eh? Like a single. Oh, wait. What does it plug into? Anyways, it's been a while since I've been on the XKeys website. But that's what this is. And if you're looking for an alternative to Stream Deck, these guys are great. I mean, they work really well. I have no complaints in terms of this thing operating as expected. And for the same price as a 15-button Stream Deck, you can get a 80-button USB keyboard. And they even give you a template to print your own labels. And so it's a downloadable file. Where is it here? It's in here somewhere, like Label Maker or something like that. Purchase, custom design. It's got to be under support. Software developer, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, maybe it's in the software that it does it. But anyways, it like opens a file, and you can just fill in the keys and then hit print, and you just cut those out and put them inside underneath the lids. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we digress. So anyways, XKeys, it's good stuff. The 124 is the one that I'd like to get. How do the keys feel? They're good. They have a good click. Like it's not an actual audible click, but it is definitely, it's a soft push, but they spring back. So they have some tension to them a little bit that you can't just accidentally press one. It is not a keyboard it's not that sort of keyboard click. It is a kind of a quiet, but they definitely have a stronger spring inside. So they do push back a little bit. Not stiff. Stiff is the wrong term, but they do spring back with some intention. So I like it. It works really well. Hey, thanks for hanging us at Rant on Demand. Thanks for hanging us. It's always a pleasure. Agreed. And I do need to go. I have an email here that I need to attend to that is kind of a burning fire. So as is par for the course, we will wrap it up, folks, and hopefully you have found some of this helpful. I really appreciate you guys hanging around with me today. It's always a blast. Be sure that you take care of yourselves. Take care of each other out there. Super important that we watch out for each other. And by all means, reach out to my guys at help@birddog.tv if you have any questions between now and next Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll be back. That's what the plan is, unless I'm sick or something. Tuesday at 11 o'clock, we'll do another show, and we'll hang out. I was going to do something on Tuesday. Now I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, definitely. Have a great day, guys. It's been a pleasure being with you, and I cannot wait to hang out with you guys again. So be well, and we will chat soon. Bye, guys.
under your butts.